for the standard 9th and geography, and we are going to have the revision of the lesson, second lesson, that is endogenic movements. Okay, so Earth's movement. The movement in the Earth's interior occurs in the upper layer of the mantle. So the movement in the Earth interior part occurs in the upper layer of the mantle. Then the tremendous energy is released by radioactive materials in the mantle. So due to these movements in the Earth's interior part, there is tremendous energy is released by the radioactive materials which are present in the mantle. So mantle, you all know the Earth is having the layers. Okay, so mantle is the inner part. So in that, when the movements are there, so tremendous energy is released. Due to this, instability is caused in the mantle. So because of this, there is stability is not there, instability is caused in the mantle. So we will see now the classification of internal movements. So how the internal movements are classified. So the movements first is according to the velocity. So movements are slow movements and sudden movements. So according to the velocity of the movements, they are divided into two, that is the slow movement and the sudden movement. And in slow movement, when the slow movements are there, so this procedure is very slow procedure. Then because of the slow movements, mountains, continents are formed. Formation of mountains and continents is taking place due to the slow movements. Now sudden movements. When the sudden movements are there, because of that, earthquakes takes place, volcanoes are erupted. So there are suddenly the sudden shaking of the earth, we can say. Then according to the direction now. So when the directions are horizontal, means horizontal movements. Then next is the upward, downward movements. Upward and downward movements according to the directions. Then landforms. So how the landforms are taking place? Continental building movements, that is continents, plateaus are formed. Okay. Then the mountain building movements. When the mountain building movements are taking place, that times folding and faulting. So fold mountains are formed. Sorry. And due to the faulting, the mountains are formed. So we have seen the internal movements and how they are classified and what formation takes place because of those movements. So we will see now, we have just seen the classification now. Now we will see in detail about each of them. Now the slow movements. The effect of slow movements can be seen in the formation of, in the form of formation of mountains and continents on the Earth's surface. Okay. Now, when the slow movements are there, there is a formation of mountains and continents on the Earth's surface. Now, how it takes place? Now, see the effect, the direction of waves movement. Okay, when the direction of the waves are there, the movement, how it is? The pressure, waves are moving towards each other. So then the pressure is created. When the waves are moving towards each other, you can see in the diagram, the waves are moving towards each other, pressure is created. When the waves are moving away from each other, tensions are created. Effect on hard rocks. Now, when these slow movements are taking place, what the effects are there on the hard rocks? Then the faults, you can see in the diagram, the waves are towards each other, then the faults are created. Now, when they are moving away from each other, then the faults are creating, but there is slight difference in there. Okay. Then effects on soft rocks. When the rocks are very soft, what effects are taking place? Then, if the waves are moving towards each other, then folding takes place. That time, fold mountains are created. Then in the next, you can see when there is they are moving away from each other, then the tension is created in that rock. So that time, plane for fault planes are created. So these are the Earth's movements and their effects. So how the Earth's movement takes place and what are their effects. Now, mountain building movements, or they are also known as orogenic movements. The movements give rise to mountains are called orogenic movements. So the movements which are giving rise to mountains, they are given the name as orogenic movements. So in that there are two types of mountains: fold mountains, block mountains, and the next is rift valleys. Valleys are formed. So now we'll see the fold mountains. Energy released from the interior of the earth. Okay, how the fold mountain takes place. Energy is transferred from the interior of the earth. Due to these energy waves and pressure working towards each other and in horizontal direction, the layer of the soft rock form folds. So because of these energy waves and what the pressure is created towards each other in horizontal direction. So because of this, they are traveling, the energy is transferred in the horizontal direction and the waves are traveling in horizontal direction. The layers of the soft rock forms folds. As a result, the surface of the earth gets uplifted and fold mountains are formed. So what happens? Surface of the earth, what it gets uplifted and fold mountains are formed. As a result, examples are the Himalayas, the Aravallis, the Rockies, the Andes, and the Alps. You can see in the diagram below how the whole mountain is formed. See compression. Because of this, the soft rock gets folded. So fold mountains are found. In the picture in the right side, you can see how the mountain is looking when it is formed by the fold mountains. Now we'll see the next is the block mountains. The faults, because of the internal movements, horizontal waves moving away from each other. Now they are moving away from each other. This was because of that tension is created in the layer of the rocks. These lead to formation of fractures in the rocks. These are known as faults. So because of this tension, faults are fractures are formed in the rocks and they are known as faults. When a part of the earth's crust in between two parallel faults is lifted. So because of tension is created in the part of the earth's crust, what happens when two parallel faults is there? There is upliftment, lifted. Okay, you can see in the picture left side how it looks. It looks like a block. Such landforms are known as block mountains. Okay, because of the tension, creation of the tension, the middle part is lifted. Example is the Black Forest Mountain, which is in Europe, and the Meghalaya Plateau, which is in India. So you can see how in the picture, how the block mountain looks. Now the rift valleys. Sometimes two fractures develop side by side in Earth's crust. So sometimes it happens that two fractures develop and side by side of the Earth's crust. The land in between the two fractures subside. Now it is not lifted up, but it is now subsiding down. Okay. So this subsided deep part is called as rift valley. So this is nothing, that part is called as the rift valley. What are the examples now? The Rift Valley of Narmada, the Great Rift Valley of Africa, the Rhine River Rift Valley of Europe. Okay, so these are the examples of rift valleys. You can have a look on the picture, how the valleys look. So now the next part is continental building movements or aporogenic movements. Now slow movements occur towards the center from Earth's center towards the Earth's crust. Okay, when the slow movements are occurring towards the center of the Earth's center. Okay, means center of the Earth is there, and from the center towards the Earth crust. From middle it is moving towards the Earth's crust. Due to this, a vast part of the Earth's crust is lifted above the sea level or gets subsides. Continents are formed. So what happens because of this? A very major part of the Earth's crust, it is lifted above the sea level. Okay, so it is raised and gets subsided, and these are nothing but the continents are formed. So these movements are called continent building movements. So because of this, the continents are built. So they are given the name continent building movements. You can have a look on the picture how the continents are being formed. Now sudden movements. Now we have finished with the slow movements. Now these are the sudden movements which give rise to the earthquake and the volcanoes. Now how earthquakes? Earth means the ground and earthquake means trembling. Now the meaning of earthquake they have given. Earth means the ground and the quake means trembling of the earth. Earthquake is the movement of the earth's crust. Okay, it is nothing but the movement of the earth's crust. Tremendous tension is created in the earth's crust due to the movements in the interior of the earth. So tension is created, great tension is created in the earth's crust. And how it is? Due to what? Due to the movements in the interior of the earth. So the waves are transferred from interior part of the earth to the earth's crust, and thus tension is created in it. When tension goes beyond limit, the energy is released in the form of waves. So when this tension is beyond the limit now, so what happens? Now hot, solid, liquid, and gaseous materials are thrown out from the mantle of the earth on the surface of the earth. So from the mantle, that is the interior part of the earth, these hot, solid, liquid, gaseous materials are thrown out on the surface of the earth. This process is called volcanic eruption. Example there, what is lava? When molten magma comes out on the surface, it is called lava. So the very hot material that is coming out on the surface, it is given the name lava. Now, what are the causes of earthquake? Moving of the plates, colliding of plates. So we know that the earth crust is made up of many plates. So when they are moving. So that time also earthquake can be caused. Colliding of the plates, when they are colliding with each other, plates sliding one below the other, means they are sliding on one another. Forming of fractures in rock layers due to tension in the interior of the earth. So fractures are formed in the rock layers due to tension created in the interior part of the earth. Occurring of volcanic eruption. When volcanic eruption is taking place, that time also earthquakes can occur. Now seismogram. Now what is seismogram? The instrument which shows a graph of movement of seismic waves. With the help of modern technology, even microseismic waves can also be measured. So these are the waves of earthquakes. So when the earthquakes takes place, this instrument is very useful, that it can record how much magnitude the earthquakes, how much magnitude the waves are. So even microseismic waves can also be measured by this instrument. So you can have a look on the instrument, how it is, the working of the instrument. Graph is paper is over there, and whatever the how the waves are moving, according to same the graph is recorded on the paper. So types of seismic waves now we will be seeing. Now in the diagram, you can see the right side. Earth surface is shown. Epicenter means focus is shown. Epicenter means the center. Then the primary, secondary waves, surface waves. So we will see all this in detail. Now focus and epicenter. Now what it is? Tension is created by movements below the Earth's surface. So we all know that when the tension is created by movements below the Earth's surface, high energy is released at the place where this tension mounts up. So very high energy is released at that place where this tension is created by the movements. This is the center of the earthquake, and this is only the center of the earthquake. It is called the focus or hypocenter. So it is also known as focus or hypocenter. Energy waves travels towards the earth's surface in the form of waves. So these energy waves, they are traveling towards the earth's surface. How they are traveling? In the form of waves. So now they are classified into primary, secondary, surface waves. So types of seismic waves. The first one is primary or P waves. So they are given the name that is P waves also. These are the first one to reach the surface of the earth after the energy is emitted in the earth's interior. So now this one is the first. Okay, these primary waves are the first one which are reaching to the earth's surface when the energy is emitted from the interior of the earth. As soon as the energy is emitted from the interior part of the earth, these are the waves which are reaching first to the earth's surface. So they are given the name primary waves. They travel at a very fast speed from the focus of the earthquake in radial direction. So they are travel, the speed of them is very fast. That's why they are reaching the first on the earth's surface. The waves move to and fro, so they are also called forward backward waves. As the movement is to and fro, so they are given the name forward backward waves. Now these waves can travel through all the three states. Okay, so they can travel through all the three states, that is the liquid, solid and gaseous. So we have seen the primary waves. Now the next is secondary or S waves. The waves which reach the earth's surface after the primary waves are called secondary waves. So those waves which are reached on the earth's surface after the primary waves are, the second number is of the secondary waves. Okay, first primary waves, then the secondary waves. So they are given the name secondary waves. These waves also scatter in all direction from the focus of the earthquake. So when they with these waves, what they do, they scatter. Okay, they are not concentrated in one direction, but they're scattering in all direction from the focus of the earthquake. This means from where they are released, when they are reaching on the earth's surface, they are scattered. These waves can travel only through the solid medium. So these are not able to travel as the primary, same as the primary, but these are only able to travel from the solid medium. Now the next is the surface or L waves. These waves are generated after the main P and S waves reach the epicenter. So these waves are the last. After the P and the S waves reach the epicenter, after that they are generated. They are traveled in the direction of the circumference of the earth along the crust. So they travel in the direction of the circumference. Means we all know what is the circumference of the earth. Okay, so along all the earth's crust, they are moving along the earth's crust. They are highly destructive and they are very, very destructive. Now volcanoes. Hot, solid, liquid and gaseous materials are thrown out from the mantle of the earth on the earth's on the surface of the earth. This is called volcanic eruption. So when the hot, solid, liquid and gaseous materials, they are thrown out from the mantle of the earth, means from the mantle, we know the interior part of the earth, that is mantle. From there it is thrown out on the surface of the earth. So that is nothing but volcanic eruption. So there are types of volcanic eruption. First is the central type or conical volcano, and the next is the fissure. And what is now the central type? The molten magma comes out through a pipe like vent inside the earth's crust. So it is coming out through like a pipe, like it is vent inside the earth's crust. Examples are the Mount Fujiyama, which is in Japan, Mount Kilimanjaro, which is in Tanzania. So these are the examples of central type or conical volcano. And the next is fissure now. Now this type of volcano, the magma comes out not from a single vent, but from many cracks or fissures. So we have seen the first one, it was coming out from only one outcome, means coming out of only one pipe. But now this is not coming from one single vent, but it has many cracks. So from there it is oozing out. So it is a fissure type volcano. As a result, volcanic plateaus are formed. So when the cooling of this magma takes place, then the plateaus of volcanoes takes place. Volcanic plateau. Example is the Deccan Plateau, India. You can see in the picture how it is. The first one, central or conical, you can see it is coming out from one only vent, and the second part, you can see it is coming out of many vents through cracks. Now, what are the effects of volcanoes? Loss of life and property. Sometimes tsunami gets generated due to volcanic eruption occurring below ocean floors. So sometimes it happens that tsunamis are generated due to volcanic eruption taking place below the ocean floors. When the volcanoes are erupted below the ocean floors, so that time what happens? Tsunamis are created. Dust, smoke, ash, gases, water vapor, etc. remain in the atmosphere for a long time. So the dust, smoke, ashes, gases, and water vapors, they are in very large quantity and they remain in the atmosphere for a very long time. This may create imbalance in the environment. So because of this, imbalance also can be created in the environment. Land may become fertile due to volcanic ashes. And one thing is that after the volcanic ash is left out, after the cooling and the procedure, then the land becomes fertile because of the volcanic ash. Many minerals are found near the earth's surface because of lava. And many minerals are also found near the earth's crust, near the earth's surface because of the eruption of the lava. Because whatever the minerals are there, they are carried out through the magma from the earth's interior part of the earth, that is mantle, and they are thrown out on the surface of the earth. New land is formed due to volcanic eruption, or at times an island may even disappear. So what happens when volcanic eruption takes place? New lands can also be formed, or sometimes it happens that an island is there that also can be disappearing, that is vanished. Now lakes are formed at the mouth of the crater of dead volcanoes when the rainwater accumulates in them. And when these volcanoes are erupted and they are dead now, they are not active now, and mouth is there, mouth of the volcano is there. So sometimes it happens that rainwater gets accumulated over there and lakes are formed, because when volcano is erupting, so it is very deep when that substance is reaching the earth surface. So lakes are created. Now what we have seen, just we will have the revision. Internal movements we have seen. Then on the basis of velocity, we have seen that is the slow movements, sudden movements we have seen. Then on the basis of direction, we have seen horizontal movements, upward and downward movements. Then on the basis of landforms, we have seen continental building movements and mountain building movements. So we have seen the movements, internal movements. Okay. So now we'll start with the activity 1. Show the following on the given outline map of the world. So this is a world's outline map, and you have to show them. You have to locate them. That is the Mount Kilimanjaro, first one. Then Mount Fuji. Then Mount Vesuvius. Then fourth is the Krakatoa. And fifth is the Mid-Atlantic Earthquake Zone. Now you can see in the index with a triangle shape, they are located. So now you can see Mount Kilimanjaro. So all are located. Mount Venus, Mount Krakatoa, Mount Fuji, then Mid-Atlantic Earthquake Zone also is shown over there. So you can complete this one activity. Next. Now we'll start with the question answers. Now answer in one sentence each. What is Richter's scale? It is a scale for expressing the magnitude of an earthquake. Okay. So expressing the magnitude of earthquake, how it is, how much it is, the Richter scale is used. So this is very useful for measuring the magnitude of the earthquake. What is a focus or hypocenter? So what do you mean by focus or hypocenter? We have seen the point below the Earth's surface where energy is released during an earthquake is called the focus of the earthquake. Okay. So the point below the Earth's surface where energy is released during an earthquake is called the focus of the earthquake. What is primary waves? The earthquake waves that reach the surface of the earth first. We have seen now only that the waves which reach the earth's surface first, they are called as primary waves, and they are immediately after the energy is released in the interior part of the earth are called primary waves. You have to remember that the earthquake waves which are the first one to reach the earth's surface immediately after the energy is released from the interior part of the earth, they are called as primary waves. Now what are the secondary waves? The secondary waves reporting at the surface after the primary waves. After the primary waves, the waves which are reaching the earth's surface are called as secondary waves. And what are the surface waves? Primary and secondary waves affect the surface on reaching it. As a result, a new set of waves gets generated at the surface. So when they are reaching the earth's surface, some type of effects, the effects they are showing on the earth, and as a result, a set of new waves are generated on the surface. These waves are called surface waves. Now, what are plates? The part of varying size of the earth's crust floating on the upper portion of the mantle are called plates. So what are the plates? The parts of varying size of the earth's crust means it is nothing but the earth's crust of various sizes which are floating on the upper portion of the mantle. Okay, which are floating on the upper part of the mantle are called the plates. Okay, so this is the what question is there? Identify and name the internal movements now. So when tsunamis are generated in the coastal areas, so what type of movement it is? Sudden movement, because earthquakes are taking place under the floor of the water. So it is a sudden movement. The Himalayas are an example of fold mountains. So we all know that fold mountains means slow movement. So mountain building, they are also known as mountain building movements. Molten magma is thrown out of the earth's mantle. It is a sudden movement. When molten magma is thrown out of the Earth's mantle, it is a very quick movement and sudden movement. Then next is Rift Valley is formed because of faulting. Again, how the Rift Valleys were formed, it is a slow movement, up and down movement. Because of that, Rift Valleys are formed. Dust, smoke, and mud with lava coming out of barren island. This is a sudden movement. Now distinguish between fold mountain and block mountain and fold mountain. So block mountain. When a part of the Earth's crust between two parallel fault is lifted, a block mountain is formed. So you have to write the differentiation same way how it is shown, that same way you have to write it. One point here, the other point there. So when the part of the Earth's crust between the parallel faults, two parallel faults is lifted, a block mountain is formed. We have seen how it is lifted up. So how the fold mountain now, because of energy waves, pressure working towards each other. The layer of the soft rocks form faults leading to the formation of folds. So here pressure is created in the soft layers of the rock. So they get folded. So fold mountains are formed. Mountains are formed due to tension. So block mountain is due to tension formed, and fold mountains are formed due to compression. Now the examples are of the Black Mountain, the Black Forest Mountain of Europe, and Meghalaya Plateau of India. So these are the examples of block mountain. And what are the examples of fold mountain? The Himalayas, the Aravallis, the Rockies, and the Andes, and the Alps. So these are the rocks which are formed out of fold. These are called as fold mountains. Now primary seismic waves and secondary seismic waves. Primary waves are the first one to reach the surface of the earth after the energy is emitted in the interior part. So we have already seen this. So definition of primary waves is we already know. They are the first one to reach the earth's surface immediately after the energy is transmitted. Secondary, the waves which reach the earth's surface after the primary waves are called secondary waves. Then second point is primary waves can travel through solid, liquid, and gaseous medium. So primary waves are able to travel through all three mediums, but secondary waves are only traveling through solid. They are not able to travel through liquid and gaseous. While traveling through liquid medium, primary waves change their direction. So when primary waves are traveling through liquid, they are changing their direction. Secondary waves get absorbed as they enter the liquid medium. And when the secondary waves are entering the liquid medium, they are getting absorbed by that medium. They are not transformed further. Then the next is the waves move to and fro in the direction of energy. So these waves are moving to and fro. The waves in the secondary waves are moving up and down. So remember, primary are moving to and fro. These are moving up and down. So these are the points you have to remember when you are distinguishing between the primary and the secondary waves. Very easy. You can remember. The next one now. Give reasons why an earthquake takes place. So what are the reasons that the earthquakes are taking place? So we'll see when the movements occur in the interior of the earth, tremendous tension is created in the earth's crust. So when movements are taking place, okay, in the interior part of the earth. So what happens? Tremendous tension is created in the earth's crust. When the tension goes beyond the limit, what happens then? The energy is released in the form of waves. So then the energy starts released in the form of waves. This results in trembling of the earth's surface, that is an earthquake. So because of the energy is released in the form of waves, the earthquake, we can experience the earthquake on the earth's surface. Following are the reasons for the occurrence of an earthquake now. Now these are the main three reasons. Then more reasons are there. Moving of the plates. We have seen that the earth's crust plates are there which are floating on the mantle. So these are when they start moving, these plates. Then these plates, when they start colliding each other, then the plates sliding one below the other, means they are sliding. You know how it is sliding, means it is one below the other, they are going, forming of fractures in the rock layers due to tension in the interior of the earth. So fractures are developed in the rock layers due to tension in the interior of the earth, occurring of volcanic eruption. So sometimes it happens that because of volcanic eruption also the earthquake may take place. So these are the reasons why an earthquake takes place. How is the magnitude of the earthquake related to collapsing of houses? Okay. So now the magnitude of the earth, when we hear the news in the this thing, we hear the news of the earthquake, the news. So that time they tell the magnitude also. This magnitude is there. So how it is now? Through a seismograph, a graph showing movements of the seismic waves can be generated. Okay. So through we have seen that instrument seismograph. So I have told you all that graph is shown how the movements of the seismic waves are there. So from that we can find the magnitude. After studying this graph, the magnitude of the earthquake is known. Yes. The graph is drawn, means with in the seismograph there is a paper and ink is provided. So whatever the magnitude of these waves are there, they are in the form of graph it is recording. So from studying that graph, the magnitude of the earthquake can be known. The magnitude of the earthquake is measured with the help of a Richter scale also. Okay. So we have seen now in the definition what is a Richter scale. So the magnitude of earthquake can be measured by this Richter scale. Now it is the because of primary waves that the building on the earth's surface move back and forth. So we have seen already that the primary waves are the first who reach the earth's surface first, and their movement is how? To and fro. So back and forth, the movement of the whatever the buildings are there on the earth's surface, they move back and forth. The buildings on the earth's surface move up and down because of the secondary waves. When they are moving up and down, so they are because of the secondary waves are there. They are more destructive than the P waves, leading to collapsing of the building. So primary waves, even if they are reaching first, they are less destructive than the secondary waves. Secondary waves, what they do? They move the building up and down, and that is resulting into collapsing of the building. So they are more destructive than the primary waves. So what are the effects of earthquake on the earth's surface and human life? So when earthquake takes place, what effects are there on the earth's surface and also on the human life? Following are the effects of earthquakes. Cracks and fractures develop on the ground. So after the earthquake, we can see the cracks and falls on the ground. These causes landslides which lead to sliding of rocks. Sometimes what happens, landsliding takes place, which leads to sliding of rocks. Sometimes the groundwater changes its course. Yes, when because of earthquake, the groundwater it changes its direction, means direction of flowing. For example, wells may get water or may dry up. So these are the example that which well we are having less water or no water may get the water, but which were having water, that water can also dry up because of earthquake. Some areas get uplifted while some may subside. This also takes place when earthquake takes place. That some area, some part of the earth is getting uplifted, and some part of the earth's crust can be subsided also. Tsunamis are generated in oceans. These waves can cause great loss of life and property in the coastal areas. We have already heard about the tsunamis, so how destructive they are. We have an idea that it is a very great loss of life and property, and as it is occurring in the oceans, it is affecting the coastal area. In snow covered areas, avalanches may occur. So where the snow covered areas are there, the avalanches may occur over there. Building collapses and loss of life and property occurs. So buildings are collapsing because of earthquake, and loss of life and property also takes place because of that. Now next is explain the type of volcanoes on the basis of periodicity of eruption with examples. So we have seen the volcanoes, the type of volcanoes that explain all with examples. According to the periodicity of the volcanic eruption, three types of volcanoes can be identified. So three types of volcanoes are identified. First one is active volcano. If the volcanic eruption are regular, even in the present time, then such volcanoes are called active volcanoes. So when the volcanic eruptions are regular, they are called as active volcanoes. Example, Mount Fujiyama in Japan and Mount Stromboli in Mediterranean Sea. So these are the examples of active volcanoes. Dormant volcanoes now. When a volcano has not erupted since long, but may become active suddenly, is called dormant volcano. So the volcanoes which are not erupted yet, means long time ago that previously it has erupted, but for a long time it has not been erupted yet, but it may erupt suddenly. So it is called as dormant volcano. What are the examples? Mount Vesuvius in Italy, Mount Katmaya in Alaska, and Barren Island in India. So these are the examples of dormant volcanoes. Now, extinct volcano, third type. Those volcanoes which have not erupted in the past since long time and are not likely to erupt in the future are called extinct volcano. From the name itself, we can know that extinct means ended. So those volcanoes which have not erupted for a very long time and they are not likely, means they are not going to erupt also in future. So very less chances of eruption is there. So they are called as extinct volcanoes. And the example is Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. So this is the example of extinct volcano. Explain the type of seismic waves now. So we have already seen now this. When the when the intention is released at focus, the released energy travels in all directions. This energy comes towards the Earth's surface in the form of waves. The seismic waves can be divided into primary, secondary, and surface waves. So each detail they have given. Then the primary waves, they are the first one to reach. Then the direction, how to and fro, because of this backward and forward movement takes place. Then they can travel to three states. Okay, all that three states, liquid, solid, and gaseous. And when they are traveling through liquid medium, their direction gets changed. Okay, so we all know this about the primary. Now, building collapse at the foothills of the Himalayas because of the earthquake. Before collapsing, they are moving forward and backward. So they are when they are moving forward and backward, that means primary. We know that primary waves are the first one reaching. All the three waves are there. First name, then primary, secondary, and surface. Then primary waves are the first one to reach. Then after that, the particles in the rocks move in the direction of the waves to and fro. The direction is to and fro. Because of this, they move forward and backward. So thus, during an earthquake, the building at the foothills of Himalayas move forward and backward, as they are the first subjected to P waves. Because of P waves, they are subjected, so they are moving forward and backward. There is a difference in the formation of Meghalaya Plateau and Deccan Plateau. The Meghalaya Plateau is formed due to slow movements. We know, we have studied this, whereas Deccan Plateau is formed due to sudden movement. Because of volcanic eruption, Deccan Plateau is formed. During the formation of Meghalaya Plateau, a part of the earth crust in between two parallel faults was lifted, forming a plateau, whereas the Deccan Plateau was formed due to molten material coming out of the eruption, spreading on both sides of the fissure. So this is the difference. Meghalaya was formed how? When the parallel faults were lifted, forming a plateau, was lifted up and forming a plateau. Whereas Deccan was formed because of the volcanic eruption. Thus there is a difference in the formation of Meghalaya and Plateau, Deccan Plateau, Meghalaya Plateau and Deccan Plateau. Most of the volcanoes are found on the plate boundaries. Now, what is the reason? Plate boundaries are directly related to areas of volcanoes. Most of the volcanoes are located on the plate boundaries. So volcanoes itself are located on the plate boundaries. The upper part of the plate boundaries which slide under the crust result in the loss of material. Such boundaries are called plate consuming boundaries. Means means each plates are having the boundaries. Okay, so when they are sliding under the crust, what happens? There is a plate is consumed, means the boundaries are lost. Okay, in areas where new material is coming up onto the earth's crust, they are called plate creating boundaries. Okay, when the magma, means that the volcanic eruption is taking place, there is creation of the boundary. Both the process result in earthquake and volcanoes. Thus most of the volcanoes are formed in the plate boundaries. Okay, so okay, we'll see the points which we have to remember from this lesson. That is, when tremendous energy is released by radioactive material in the mantle. So from mantle it is released. Then the movements are classified on the basis of their, we have learned this velocity, direction and landforms they produce. So according to this, they are classified. Then the effect of slow movements can be seen in the form of mountains and continents. So the what are the effects of slow movements? Mountains and continents are formed. Then the slow movements in the interior part of the earth that gives rise to mountains are called mountain building movements. So mountains are formed, hence the name is mountain building movements or orogenic movements. As energy moves through the interior of the earth, soft rocks are subjected to pressure, leading to the creation of folds that eventually lead to the formation of fold mountains. Then a raised portion of the crust between the two parallel fault is called block mountain. Then the area of the subsidence between two adjoining fault is called a rift valley. Then the slow movements that gave rise to continents and extensive plateaus are called continental building movements. Then the next is the movement of the earth's crust due to sudden release of energy is called an earthquake. The point below the earth's surface when the energy is released during an earthquake is called the focus of the earthquake. Then the point located on the surface of the earth nearest to the focus is called epicenter of the earthquake, which is very nearest, the point which is very nearest to the focus is called epicenter of the earthquake. Now we have seen that what is the name the scale which is used for expressing the magnitude of the earthquake, that is Richter scale. Then earthquake is measured with the help of an instrument called as seismogram. The seismic waves can be divided into primary, secondary and surface waves. Now the first waves to reach the surface of the earth when energy is emitted in the interior part of the earth is primary or P waves. And the next waves which are reaching after the primary are the secondary waves or S waves. And the waves which travel in the direction of the circumference of the earth along the crust, they are called as surface waves. Why? Because they are traveling along the circumference, so they are given the name surface waves. The process in which hot, solid, liquid and gaseous materials are thrown out from the mantle on the earth onto the surface of the earth is called volcanic eruption. So on the basis of type of eruption, volcanoes are divided into central type and fissure type of volcano. According to the periodicity of the volcanic eruption, volcanoes can be divided into So on the periodicity, again, Miss volcanoes we have seen the classification according to the eruption. Was central type and fissure type. But according to the periodicity, volcanic eruption is active, dormant, and extinct. We have seen in the detail about this. Then the plate boundaries are directly related to the areas of earthquake and volcanoes. Okay, so that's all. We have completed the lesson. We have done the revision of the lesson number 2 of geography. I hope students you have understood it. So thank you students for listening the lecture very attentively.